Okay. Hello, boys and girls. Yesterday, we talked about a strategy, and we talked about addition strategies. And we learned that a strategy is a way to solve something. And then we learned 3 new strategies we can use when we're learning our math facts. We learned we can memorize our doubles. And then memorizing our doubles facts will help us with our doubles plus 1 facts and our doubles minus 1 facts. Our 4th strategy that we're learning today is called the counting on strategy. So put a number 4 in your book. We're still on page 21. And our 4th strategy is called counting on. And we count on by 1, 2, or 3. You know what? I made a mistake. This should be counting on by 1, 2, or 3. And an example of this strategy is, let's say we have 6 plus 1 equals 7. I start with the 6 and I just add 1 to it. So I don't go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 like this. I can just go 6, start with 6, 7, and that saves time just by counting on. I can also count on by 2. And so instead of saying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I can just say 6, 7, 8. And I can also count on by 3. So I can say 6, 7, 8, 9. And this strategy will really help you when you're trying to learn your math facts. What I'm going to do is just draw a little box around the 1, the 2, and the 3. And I'm going to underline this strategy in blue. Go ahead and finish this up, and if you need more time, hit pause, and then you're going to turn the page to page 22. So turn the page, make sure there's a 22 at the bottom. And the 5th strategy that we're going to learn today, or the 5th strategy of addition, it has a fancy name that's not in your book, and it has a not fancy name that's in your book. But since you're all such big kids, I'm going to give you both the fancy name and the non-fancy name. So the fancy name is called the commutative, that big long word, the commutative property of addition that big fancy word Now to commute means to travel from one place to another. So we have that word. So in a second, we're going to talk about why it might be called this. The commutative property of addition, that's the fancy name, or the name you've probably heard of before is called turnaround facts. So I'm just going to highlight the fancy name in blue and the name that's not as fancy in yellow. Now this strategy only works in addition. This is an addition only strategy. If you try to do it in subtraction, it's bad news. So this is an addition only strategy. And you've probably seen this before. This means that if the addends trade places, we're going to end up with the same sum. So for example, if I have 5 plus 2 equals 7, okay. And I'm going to give that some color. I'm going to give the 5 some orange, and I'll give the 2 some yellow. If my addends trade places, if they do a switcheroo, then I would have 2 plus 5 equals 7, and I get the exact same sum. So knowing that can also help you learn your addition facts. So what it's saying is, if the addends trade places, the sum stays the what? What do you think goes there? Same. Good. So if the addends trade places, the sum stays the same. So basically, once you learn your 2's, once you know 2 plus 5 is 7, then you also know 5 plus 2 is 7. So it kind of cuts your work in half. So remember, this is only works in addition. So number 5, we'll put addition only. Because the 6th strategy we're going to learn can work for both addition and subtraction. Oh, I forgot to ask you. So remember what the word commute means? It means to travel from one place to another. So why do you think this is called the commutative property of addition? Yes.
I think it's like that because the 2 and the 5 kind of travel to the other spot.
You got it. Because we have some traveling happening here. Okay, our last strategy for today. So it's our sixth. The sixth strategy. It's called the identity property. An identity means yourself. Okay, so what does identity mean?
Yourself.
Yourself. Okay, so in a second we'll talk about why this might be called the identity property. So this property says, this strategy says, anything plus 0 is equal to itself. So if I have 5 plus 0, it's equal to 5. If I have 127 plus 0, it's equal to what? 127. Anything plus 0 is equal to itself. Now, what do we use to look at ourselves? What can we use to look at ourselves to see how we look, everyone? A mirror. So you can pretend that this 0 is a mirror. We'll draw a little mirror. So I could say 7 plus 0 is equal to 7. And I'll put my little mirror here. So pretend the 0 is a mirror. And remember, this property says anything plus 0 is equal to itself. And I'm just going to give my mirror a little bit of color. Usually mirrors are kind of a silver color. I'm going to see if I can find a silver. Might have to look, but I'm just going to give my little mirror some color. So why do you think this, if identity means yourself, why is this called the identity property? Yeah, it's like the number is looking at itself in the mirror, so it doesn't change. Thank you. And this also works for subtraction because a number subtract 0 is always equal to that same number. Okay, so we could say, just down here tiny, we could say 5 subtract 0 is 5. And we could just put works for subtraction 2.